Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? What's up, y'all? I am your girl, Candy, and to my left, we have Don Juan. He is about to help me speak on it. I had already heard. I can turn a shade tree into a money tree. Okay, so I cannot wait to this episode, child. See, I think a lot of people thought that I was gonna shy away from this episode because I saw y'all in the comments last week when y'all was sitting up here trying to say that I didn't want to comment on last week's episode. That's why I had Don Juan and A1 come speak for me. First of all, I'm over it! First of all, if y'all ain't learned nothing about me in this decade that I've been on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, you should know that I say how I feel. With that being said.
But see, you know what? And I don't even mean to interject on that, but I think that that's where people get it twisted.
Okay,
that
what's the problem?
They feel that because you're friends with people that you can't or won't say what you feel. And I think they feel the same way, like, oh, you're not supposed, that's your friend, then how can you comment on that?
Yeah, I think that it's unfair, actually, because I see some people who, say stuff like, anytime we say anything that's in, like, I'll just use the whole Kenya situation as an example. If I say anything that's disagreeing with Kenya, then people will be like, oh, you're not a real friend to her, blah, blah.
Yes.
At the end of the day, she and I are real friends. I love her very much. But obviously, last week I disagreed. So before I go into this week, I just wanted to say a quick thing, because I know y'all had y'all opinions talking about my outfits and all that stuff that y'all was doing.
That was real auntie-ish. Auntie, TT.
We'll get on that later.
TT.
We'll get on that later. Anyway, but the one thing that I did want to say about the whole situation last week with Kenya and her child. Basically, overall, we have been told since I got on that show that we're not allowed to bring our kids on the trips, okay? If you go back and look at past episodes, not only myself, but other people who had children, I don't even want to say their names, and small children, they weren't allowed to bring their kids into the houses or whatever when we were on trips. That was a rule from the powers that be.
Yes.
Okay. And somewhere along the line, they have become more lenient and allow people to bring their kids. The first time I ever saw that happen was when we went to Greece and Portia and Kenya.
Are you ready to go to Greece?
Hey, are you taking her?
Yeah, she coming with us.
She going to Greece, honey.
One had her mom and the other, Kenya had a nanny, and they brought their kids on the trip. But as you saw, their kids weren't really allowed to participate in anything that we did on the trip. Okay, I'm glad that they lightened up on that. Going into this trip, I understood that Kenya wanted to bring her daughter because she said she didn't really know the babysitter, and I feel her. I wouldn't be trying to leave my kid with nobody that I didn't know in Atlanta for days at a time. So she brought a kid on a trip. I think the initial reaction from everybody was upset because it's like, okay, if you're gonna break the rules and buck the system, give us all the opportunity to break the rules with you. You know what I mean? Okay, once we got past that, I feel like people didn't understand why I had got upset on that last day, but partial of the reason why I got upset is, yes, okay, obviously you know that I work a lot and I do have help with my kids as far as like my husband, my family. I got a lot of family. So I know my situation is a little bit different, although I've been a single mom before, so I do feel her pain. But in this particular situation, what y'all don't get is any opportunity that I do have that I could bring my kids and have my kids with me, I do try to bring them with me. And so I would have liked to have had them, but I understood why she brought hers, okay? But that particular night, I didn't feel like she went to her room just because of her child. I felt like she used that as an excuse because if y'all remember, she had an argument with Marlo earlier in the evening.
I'm bothered by you because you attack me at every turn. Not 6 years ago, not 5 years ago, not 4 years ago, not 3 years ago.
When did I attack
Not two, not one, this year.
And then she called her nanny to bring her daughter back, and she went on up to her room and just said she wasn't filming anymore for the rest of the night.
Where is Kenya? Why is she not down here?
And so that's why I got pissed off, because to me it's like, okay, even if at the end of the day we all know that we're on these trips so that for you, the viewers, can be able to see everything that goes on, and if we just go to our rooms whenever we feel like. Hello. That's like we just clocked out of work. You get what I'm saying? She just clocked out the job, basically.
And
people don't understand.
Well, and I think a good example is going into this week's episode. Oddly enough, the nanny was available for tonight.
Exactly.
I'm not being funny,
Exactly.
but oddly enough, the nanny could stay later tonight.
Exactly. So that was my point. I was like, okay, if you bring your daughter on a trip, that is fine. I love Brooklyn and I understand your situation, but at least have your nanny stay in the room until we finish what we have to do. Because it's not fair if I'm expected to stay down here, film, do what I gotta do. My kids at home, I can't use my kids as an excuse, but you're using your kid as an excuse not to film with us. Although we're not allowed to break that fourth wall in the show. That's how I felt. I'm like, it was a frustration. That was my tears. My frustration was my tears. It was multiple things. It's like, okay, as a mother, yes, I wish my child was here, but also as a businesswoman and as your friend, coworker, I'm frustrated because we're all making sacrifices to be here for this filming, and you just basically said this filming.
She put the Kim Z. She put the Kim Zolciak. You know how Kim Zolciak will be, I can't do this. I gotta
Yeah, I just gotta go.
I gotta go. She put the Kim Zolciak.
Yeah,
She put the rich
Yeah.
Karen.
And so
She put the rich Karen.
I hope that helps you guys understand a little bit of why I was upset. But at the end of the day, she is my friend and I do love her. We just disagreed on that situation. And
I think that's a good segue, because even when I looked at some of the comments. Okay, if you were to say on this show, 2 people outside of yourself that I'm the closest with, including friends of show, who would that be?
I mean, on the show, I would say Kenya, because you talk to her more than anybody else.
So that's my point. When people like, oh my God, he just does not. I'm like, me and Kenya text and all. I'm like, it's so crazy that if you have an opinion, you just don't like them. And I'm like, we have to be able to have opinions and people don't take it as that's not your friend or you don't like them. I just may have an opinion about what they did.
The same way y'all had an opinion about my outfits, apparently.
I mean,
and dog me out on my own show.
What is going on specifically? What is your girl? What is Candy doing?
But whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to clear it up for you guys. I didn't have a problem with speaking on the show last week, but I am here in Chicago. It was a Valentine's Day weekend, and I tried to, have that extra little time that I had that they gave us to have the weekend. I tried to sneak home and spend it with my family and do all that good stuff that I needed to do. And you guys looked out for me, and they did speak on it, and that is what it is. So I'm sorry, but I know y'all enjoyed it because I saw y'all comments. Y'all loved the commentary for Don Juan and A1, and that is why Don Juan is here this week.
So now we're here to speak on episode 10, the body.
Okay, so it was important, so important that Don Juan flew up to Chicago so that we could speak on this, okay?
This episode, I was like, this was a walk. Bodies, everybody came out, stacked up, bodies right, looking.
Body.
I was like, whoa.
Body. Okay, oh, by the way, you can get Leg Tips and Body, the song that they played in the show.
Oh my God. Get in position.
It's online.
Yes, on iTunes right now.
On iTunes right now. Okay, it is so much to unpack in this episode. Like, I have so many thoughts. And I really would love to know, okay, where do we begin?
So for me, I think it's interesting to start the night and you're like, oh, give them a few minutes and blah, blah, blah. And then everybody's going upstairs getting dressed. So I think, okay, this is going to be good. Everybody's getting dressed. And that's when I first be like, well, damn,
Okay, so let's talk about your part in this. In my part in this. Okay. Can you mention to me a little bit before even the trip started, before we went out on the trip, she was like, well, maybe we should do something for Cynthia for a bachelorette thing, and that'd be kind of cool if you could do something, how she's like, you do your dungeon thing, parties or whatever you do, whatever. So I was like, okay, cool, and I brought it to Todd, and Todd was like, well, if you gonna do it, you better do it. If you gonna represent your dungeon party, because the dungeon is actually a tour that we've taken on the road. It's like a whole wild party and concert. We've toured it successfully. So Todd is like, if you're gonna represent it, you better represent it.
That's definitely how he was when we were talking about.
Exactly. So for those of you that are like, well, she got a husband. My husband knew that I was going to represent the dungeon in the best way possible. With that being said, I called Don Juan and I was like, yo, Don, we should ship Bolo, who's normally in our
Not
tour.
ship him, Lord, like,
I said
ship him like he is a
Dick in the
box.
Dick in the box, okay?
We just shipped the man. Okay, yeah,
Sorry.
we did in theory.
We should have him driven up to perform at this bachelorette party.
I had to get him tested. They'll figure out the way for him to get there.
Tested for COVID.
Yes, we had to get him tested for COVID prior because I'm like, if he's gonna be around you guys. So
Yeah.
we did all of that, like, to make sure it was gonna be a safe but fun experience. Get him driven up there,
Right.
place for him to stay, all of these things. I'm just
Yeah.
giving the preface of the back part of it.
Right. I had Don Juan.
The box, we had to have someone else. Like, they had to cargo the box that you saw that came from Atlanta also. So these were
Yeah.
two different processes. The cargo of the box was a process, and then Bolo being cargo
Just to let you know how
Yeah.
serious I take my events and my parties, okay? My parties are always going to be the best parties, so just know you should never miss one if you have an opportunity to go,
Yeah, you
okay?
should go.
Yeah, so we actually shipped, that glass box was shipped from Atlanta, driven up from Atlanta. The Bolo was driven up from Atlanta. I had Jeremy to go and buy all the costumes for the ladies, although, let me just say, Marlo had that outfit in her bag. Yeah, I was like,
Nigga.
because we had her an outfit, but I don't know if it was too small or whatever. And she just so happened to have that little cheetah get up in her suitcase.
Okay, well, go ahead, Marlo.
Go ahead, Marlo. Marlo the Stallion, apparently.
Because she, body. I was like, what? Yeah.
Marlo the Stallion. Anyway, that's her new name. We really went into it like, okay, this is one of our events. Because, like, I don't like anything that I do to be whack or to be part of any whackness. So I wanted you guys, if y'all was going to see it on TV, it was going to be fun.
So when I see it, because I'm not there, I'm in Atlanta, and you know, I'm just communicating with the drivers and auto and production. So I see it there, and my first commentary was, okay, some of the stuff that the ladies were saying prior to the box and when the box got there. Like, when I tell you, I'm not gonna lie, and this is gonna sound bad, but when Portia started out, was like, oh, no, I don't want the mask. Let's bring it out raw.
No, I don't need to be shielded. I'm being unprotected. I want it raw.
I was like,
What she said? Yeah, what she
I was like, whoa.
I don't want another mask. I want it raw.
I was like, oh God, this is starting out bad already.
Portia is with the shits.
It was the funniest thing ever.
Okay, first of all, that is the fun Portia.
Yes.
You know
That
you
we all
guys, yeah, I know the fun Portia, whatever, and sometimes, you know, on the show, you know, we have seen the fun Portia, but I guess this time we got to see the really fun Portia.
That was so funny to me. I thought it was really good that everybody was like, okay, we're gonna do this, and everybody was like very much into the gameplay. So even when you and Portia were leaving out the room, and you was like, girl, your lash, oh, it's a good lash. Like, she picked up the lash.
She picked the lash off the floor.
Everybody was like ready. And
Everybody was more than ready. So all the girls went and put on their outfits, which I love the fact that they were totally game. Now, just to give you an idea, when we do these dungeon party concerts, we encourage everybody to come dressed in costume of what you would wear to the dungeon. So basically, I just did the same thing with the girls. They just had on the costumes that, you know, a lot of people wear to our shows, or that, you know, some of us that are actually on stage wear. That's the type of stuff we wear on stage. Literally. Thongs, fishnets, all that. So we just got all of that for the girls. Moving right along.
I see, you know, all of the ladies, and it's funny that, you know, when you decide to bring Cynthia down, all of the ladies going to hide.
Should we hide or something?
Oh, yeah, because if she sees ass. Come here.
What are you doing?
First of all, you cannot hide all that ass in no cabinet, under no table, under no counter, in no refrigerator.
It was ass everywhere.
What are you doing?
Who had the biggest ass?
It was between Marlo and Kenya.
I don't know now. Portia too. Them three asses.
I'm like, you can't hide in that corner. We still see cheeks.
Oh, and can I say this as well? I just want y'all to pay attention. I gave Portia a black lace.
Well, why
get
was
up
this
to wear
all-
underneath her diamond ring. She had it on at first, and then she didn't want to wear that, so she just put the diamonds on.
I'm like, it was empty.
It
was great.
She got the body for it.
Okay, yeah, it was great. So then Cynthia comes down, and I'm like, okay, this is great, you know, and everybody giving their name. Shamia with the split. Next, Kenya, Miss Busted, wide open, baby, laying there.
Chocolate souffle.
The dungeon is a no judgment zone.
Oh my God.
What in the hell? Like,
Oh, chocolate souffle was busting it wide open, wasn't she?
Portia with the butt jiggle, Marlo with the rubbing of the.
I was like, oh my God, Marlo, I couldn't believe you.
I was sitting there like, what am I watching? I was with Drew when she said it later. This was definitely P-Valley.
Down in the valley where the girls get naked.
It was P-Valley.
I was like, what is going on?
If you throwing bands, then you know she gon' shake it.
But I was enjoying it. I thought it was like super fun that I felt like it was the sisterhood that you guys kind of always saw. Everybody was just like, no, this mic, are we good? Everybody was
It
game.
was a sisterhood at first. I mean, well, that night it was a sisterhood. Like everybody was getting along, everybody was having fun, and it was cool. Like nobody had any issues, which was awesome. I wanted to make the night super spicy for Cynthia, so I figured we needed to give her some vibrating panties. Basically, the way the vibrating panties works is like we give you the panties it comes with the panties in the box, and it has the vibrator that sits in the pocket of your underwear. So ladies, you know how every underwear we have has like a little pocket in it, and so the vibrator actually fits in there, so you can take it out of the panties that we give you in the box if you want, and you can put it in any panties you have. But I was happy that Cynthia was so game.
She was.
I love that. She's always down for whatever, you know, everybody's trying to do
Yeah,
that.
so
I
she
love
was
that.
game. She came back down and showed her body to all that dunk.
And I had to hit her with the remote.
Hit her with zzz.
I'm making her wear the vibrating panties so that I can turn her on whenever I get good and ready.
Then y'all take each other outside, because you know you bring her back to the swing later. You take her outside.
Yes, I took all of them outside to see the dick in the box.
So yeah.
Well, okay, no, I had to take them outside to see Bolo.
And then that part.
They were
them
all
like
on the glass. It gave the effect that I wanted to. I was so happy about that because you know what had happened? We had that stripper party for Todd's birthday before that. And
Yes.
people were talking about how I had strippers in a glass box.
TMZ picked it up and all.
Oh, we about to have some fun. It's about to go down.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to let these girls have a stripper in a glass box.
So they were game. They were like buying into it.
Okay, I love the fact that everybody was in character and stayed in character. Okay,
Yeah.
so I love that. Bolo, you know, he started to put on his show, and the girls were going crazy. Portia was very impressed.
Except I didn't understand what he was doing.
What the hell you
Licking
mean
the
you
mask.
understand?
I'm like, why is he licking?
First of all,
What
sir,
is that licking the mask doing for y'all? That was
First of all,
crazy.
you talking about when the girls saw how long his tongue
No.
was?
And when he came inside and started his show, because even Portia was like, you better lick that mask. He got his mask on. He just, that was crazy.
But the funny thing is, I've seen Bolo perform 1,000 times.
Basically.
We've been on a whole tour together.
I'm not making anyone do anything they don't want to do. All right?
So, I mean, I feel like he's a great performer,
He's a
to be
performer, for
clear.
sure.
But it was just funny that I'm sitting here with them like,
All of the women were buying into Kenya. Yeah. All of the women.
all of them.
We're buying into it. But it was funny to see how everybody started to like loosen up. Like even Drew, she was like, I'm gonna have to stay with you. She told somebody, I'm gonna have to move in with you. Because everybody was like buying into it. So then, you know, I guess he took a break. And
He
you
took a break.
Throw Cynthia.
No. When he took that break, when they had Portia going there talking to him, saying,
Can you come in and party?
I was like, what is this voice?
Why
Who
she
is this
sound
girl?
like a porn star right now?
Yeah, who is this girl?
Can
They want to know if you can come back out.
and
Yeah.
And I was like,
okay. Oh, the swing, honey. The swing. I was like, okay, I wanted multiple things to happen in this party because I wanted it to be an experience for Cynthia. So, of course, you know, bolo is an experience, but you can't just let it end there. It has to be something else. So I was like, oh, it would be super fun to put her up in this swing and show her some moves that she could do on her boo on her wedding night. So I know I saw everybody in my comments when I posted the little clip before the show, people in my comments talking about, oh, Candy, a power top.
first of all, like Cynthia is got you by a few inches in height and all. You just
But that's the cool thing about the swing. The swing is supposed to put, no matter what height the person is, you can adjust them to your height. It allows you to be angled, so when somebody hits it, they're able to hit your spot better. You know what I'm saying?
So all of that,
you know.
that I was like, okay, bedroom Candy is all through this episode.
Yeah, and then they showed me when I asked the cameras, I was like, okay, guys, could y'all put the cameras down for a minute so that the girls can actually enjoy the show? Because here's the thing. It was two things. They, for one, you know, they didn't want us to really play no real music because, you know, they had to get music cleared. So that's a damper on our parade. Then they didn't want Bolo to take off his mask, even though we had him tested. So they didn't want, you know, the girls didn't even want to wear them clear visors or whatever.
Anymore, that was over it.
So everybody was like, no, we want to have like a real fun party, like be normal. And so then on top of that, the girls wanted him to do his full show, meaning to where they get to see if it's real. So with that being said, you know, he couldn't do that part on camera. So I was like, I done paid all this money for him to come up here. I want them to be able to see the full show or whatever. So I was like, can y'all, you know, put y'all cameras down? And then Joey coming up to me, I was like, I don't give a about the cameras. Because to me,
you did.
I mean, I was serious because, okay, everybody else may have to drink and do whatever to be themselves, you know, whatever. I don't need all that. I have fun regardless of, I don't give a damn. I don't change how I am. Whatever you see is what you get basically with me. Now, everybody else, they have to have all these excuses. I'm kind of like, hey, what's up? What we doing today?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think so. It was like interesting to see the whole fourth wall broken and they're like B-micing and everybody ready and everybody on this like mission. When I tell you, I thought it was a episode of the First 48 or a documentary on Netflix with everybody like, everybody going to the cameras and stuff and like moving the cameras and I was like, okay, this is about to get really interesting.
Okay, so now let's get to the really interesting part. So the really interesting part for me was when they had like the shadows and they were just playing the recordings. Because, okay, seriously, I don't know what made us think that just because we put some tape over them damn cameras that they wasn't really gonna get nothing. That was just dumb. You know what I'm saying? For anybody to believe that they could just live their best life and nobody was gonna see nothing.
And you're taping a reality show where you've definitely given them a waiver to tape you and you ain't got no say so on what they show or don't show.
Right. And then I was like super shocked when they was having footage from outside the window and they was getting the shadows of people and stuff. I was like, what is this? First of all, look at that face.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
What's that? Okay. I would like you to recognize you didn't hear me say nothing on there, okay? I was there for sure, but I was watching. I was getting a good view of what was going on. First of all, I wasn't drinking. So I was very clear-minded and I was very paying attention and seeing what was happening. It was a very, it was...
So do we blame it on alcohol?
I'm not blaming it on alcohol. First of all, I don't like when people blame stuff on alcohol because at the end of the day, you know, everybody was, you could tell everybody was lit before, you know, Boli came out of their box. Everybody was super excited before the night even really got started. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to, you know, blame anything on alcohol. We're not going to do anything. Everybody was just living their best life and having a good time. Me personally, I had fun watching what was going on. I guess similar to what Cynthia said, I mean, I guess you considered me to be a voyeur. In a situation like this, it was like I set up the party for them to have fun. So it's just like, it wasn't anything for me. Okay. So if any of y'all are trying to figure out, well, what was you doing? Watching.
And so that leads to, it is a lot of questions in the interim.
Okay, go ahead, shoot your questions off.